Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Lindsay and this is Life with Lindsay. Today we have a WIP Chat. If you do not know what a WIP Chat is, WIP, W-I-P, stands for Work in Progress. I will work on my current WIP, which is Spirit from Dreamer Designs. You can pull out whatever it is that you are working on, whether it be a craft project, a house project. I have people tell me they listen while they're driving, while they're at work, while they're doing household chores, while they're working on other non-craft related projects. What?
While they're customizing pops.
Yep, while they're customizing pops. Actually, only one person's ever said that, and it's the DaddaMonster, and he's right there.
Am I going to hear it live?
Not always. But if you guys are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Lindsay. I do mainly diamond painting and other crafting related content. My daughter is singing B-I-N-G-O. Yeah. So, if you see me reaching across the screen, that is because my tablet is over there. And that has all of my little notes because, fun fact, I honestly cannot remember what we do from day to day. And not necessarily because we do so much, but just because life is exhausting and I forget. So I am working on, like I said, Spirit. This is a Kurtis Rykovich. I will leave the unboxing for that one up in the eye if you guys are interested. I flipped the canvas. I'm working on her hat. And here is the planchette with the little bat wings. So we will be working on this. I broke my big multi-placer last night. So womp womp. I am awaiting a new order of 10 placers. So I'm using my next largest that I have handy, which is a 7-placer, and this pen is very fitting. It matches. It's from Kevin. Yeah, so I hope that you guys had a wonderful weekend. I hope that you guys are all having a lovely whatever day it is that you're watching this. Man, nothing's worse than like sitting down and starting to diamond paint and then realizing like, damn it, I should have changed my wax. So we're just gonna keep going as long as we can. So last week, we started off our week going to a birthday party. Briar's little best friend lives a little over an hour away, and his baby sister, it was her first birthday party. It was a Bluey-themed birthday party. Briar was super excited to be there. It was at a park, which was part of a community center. It was really nice. There was like a pavilion, a nice playground. The parents had lots of stuff for the kids to do. There was like a whole tent full of bubbles. There was sidewalk chalk, snacks, lots of snacks. It was a really lovely time, and, you know, it's funny, and people are like, oh, nice to meet you. You know, I know my friend, I actually talked about her in one of my WIP Chats, like, forever ago. We met, oddly enough, it's through the small shop world, but probably not in the way you're thinking. My daughter and I were leaving a facility that she was entering with her son. We did not know each other, and she spotted me by 2 of my handmade items that I had on and went to their Facebook group and posted and said, hey, if the mom that I saw today at X, Y, and Z is in here, I'd love to be friends. And don't know how long it's been, but we are friends. We are very much friends. We hang out. We hang out not that often, but we talk on the phone, via text, all the fun stuff. I don't know why I said we talk on the phone because we don't call each other. We video chatted before, but that was totally by accident because one of the kids pushed the button and we were like, oh, let's just chat. We're already here. So, but it was a great day. It was one of those days that like the weather held out, which was great because it was an outdoor party. We only had to make one pit stop to pee. And now, I don't know if you guys have a Sheetz where you are. Sheetz is a gas station. If you're from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, you've probably heard the Sheetz Wawa debate. If you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, just hang out with me for a minute here. They're both gas stations that have made-to-order food. It's no, like, Buc-ee's like they have down south. But I am someone who grew up on Wawa, and I'm here to tell you Sheetz is superior to Wawa. Except for their turkey bowls. The turkey bowl they have over, like, Thanksgiving at Wawa. You guys, chef's kiss. Anyway, total side note on that. But now every time we go to Sheets to use the restroom, Briar is like, are we at Sheets? Yes, kid. And it doesn't even have to be the same Sheets, but we only had to make one pit stop on the way down, which we have a portable potty in the back of the car. Most of the time when we are driving, it's literally, we just left somewhere and now she's like, I have to go now. It's like, thanks. Thanks, kid. You could have gone when we were in the restaurant or the store or the Sheets or whatever. But no, you need to go now. But she played pretty independently. She did really good. She chatted with a couple of the other kids. You know, it was nice. It was a good time. We've been to one birthday party in the last 2 years other than this one. So, oh my gosh. My kid's new favorite phrase right now is, I think we're saying the same thing. And so I can hear her in her room right now, which, P.S., it's her bedtime was like an hour and 15 minutes ago. And she's in her room having a conversation. She goes, I think we're saying the same thing here. I don't know what she's talking about or who she's talking to because she has no soft friends in her room or anything like that. But, what an odd duck she is. I love her dearly. But, where am I? We got home, and of course, she crashed in the car, like, right before we got home. Like, minutes before we got home. I was like, cool. But we were going to pick up her ice skates, and I live very close to the man who we were picking them up from. And I'm turning down the main street to go to his house, and I notice I have a text that says, I'm running behind. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I just turned on the main street. You know, like, how far behind are you? I'm not sure if he just made an arbitrary number, because there was still another person there when we got there. But we just went down to the Dunkin' Donuts, like, down the street. And I was like, all right, well, let's kill some time here because, you know, and then I'm, like, sitting outside of his house. And he's like, you can come in. And I'm like, well, you're the one who told me that you're running late. I didn't want to just be like, I'm here. But my daughter got her skates, which it's so funny because they are bigger than the skates she wears at her skating lessons. However, for some reason, they look so much tinier. And then he had to sharpen the blades, and it was very cool. But there was a woman who clearly has been skating for a long time, and she was getting professionally fitted, and they were doing like a heat treatment to mold the boot to her. But once my daughter had her skates, you know, we were ready to go, and she threw this massive temper tantrum. She's like, I want to stay here. Briar, I can't leave you at a stranger's house. I want to stay. I'm like, oh my God, kid. Which was a lovely conversation that we had to have after we left. Like, I was still telling her, it's like, you can't just stay at a stranger's house. I said, Mommy and Daddy are not going to just drop you off with someone and drive away. Like, that's not how this works. I want it to work like that. I'm like, kid. The sass and the talking back this week were, like, another level. Another level. In the words of DJ Khaled, another one. Sorry for hitting the camera there. If you guys see me, like, kind of leaning into the camera at all, between the flash, the ring light, and the light pad, I have some weird glare here. Ow, ow, ow. That's what my daughter is saying. And I have the monitor turned down, so I hope you guys can't hear her, like, too much, or maybe you don't care. I know some people get a kick out of hearing her rambling away. But, so, yeah, we got our skates. And then, where am I? What do we do? What did we do? Oh, and you know what? I'm going to insert a clip here of Briar skating in her new skates, and I hope you guys like it. She actually did really good, you guys. I'm, like, super impressed. She had new skates with new sharp blades, and for some kids, that can be a little daunting, like slipping and sliding. But she did really good. That's the fastest I've ever seen her go backwards. And yeah, I can't believe it's been a year since she's been skating, you guys. That's crazy to me. But anyway, Monday, fun fact, did you guys know that you could ship birds, like live birds, in the mail?
I was wondering where you were going with that. Now I know.
Did you know that? Because we did not know that. And no, let me preface it by saying nobody in this house is sending or receiving any birds. But my husband went to drop some stuff off at the post office. If you guys don't know, my husband runs his business out of our house. However, our daily postal carrier, he does not like to be bothered. He would like drop kick packages if he could. So we don't do scheduled pickup. My husband just takes things to the post office as needed. He usually does like one scheduled run a week, unless he sells something on eBay in addition to his normal like weekly stuff. And there was a guy there that was shipping birds, and my husband was talking to the postal employee that works inside the post office, and he's like, "Are you shitting me?" And the guy's like, "No." And he's like, "This is legal? You could just ship a bird?" And he's like, "Yeah." Now, obviously, there's stipulations. They have to be of a certain size. Like, they can't be smaller or bigger than a certain size. We looked it up, too, because I was like, is this for real? Which turns out it is very much for real. So if you or anyone you know has ever sent or received a bird,
Or want to.
let me know. No, not the one to. I want to know the real life people out there who are shipping birds, because, and also I think it has to be like
on Discovery Channel, shipping birds.
I think it has to be like next day delivery. I mean, obviously you can't have like a tiny little bird in a hot box floating around for a week. If you want to do that, use UPS. Just kidding. No, not really. Not really at all. UPS takes forever to ship to me. Personally, I know other people love UPS. And this is a total tangent because it has absolutely nothing to do with my WIP Chat. But I just felt like it was important to discuss this with you guys because I didn't know it was a thing. And neither did my husband. So anyway, back to our regularly scheduled program. I had seen a couple pictures online. The Hershey Gardens, which is a like botanical gardens in Hershey, if that wasn't obvious, has their, all right, trying to get this piece of trash out, has their tulips in bloom. If you guys didn't know, which I don't know why you would know this, but tulips are my favorite, absolute favorite. Love tulips. We went to go see the tulip display, I don't know how long ago. And by the time we got there, we had missed it by like 48 hours. It sucked. I don't know if you guys have ever gone to a gardens where the, like, whatever was on display is now gone and you're just left with like empty fields. Because that's what happened the last time. So I saw somebody posting it and I was like, okay, let's look at the schedule. Let's look at the weather and let's plan a day to go. I didn't want to wait and then potentially miss them again. So we went. It was supposed to be like in the upper 60s, sunny. Let me tell you, it was neither of those things. We got there and it was about to rain / drizzling the entire time we were there. It was in the low 50s. My daughter had this really cute butterfly outfit on. It was like a dress with butterflies all over it because they have a butterfly atrium. And then we have, it's a raincoat, but it's a fleece-lined raincoat. And I got it at Target a while ago, but it also is great for if she's on the ice and it's more waterproof than her little fleece jacket. But it was cold. It was very cold. And I was like, well, this is going to suck. I didn't know how long she would last. That was a huge amount of excess wax. Good job, Lindsay. And originally my husband was going to drop us off and then go run some errands, but we didn't know how long, especially with the weather being cold, we didn't know how long Briar would last. And I don't want to send my husband and then like 10 minutes later be like, okay, she's ready to come home now. Surprisingly, she lasted like 2 hours. It was a lot of walking. And that, I think, was the first day of the week where I was like, okay, I'm assuming it's my sciatica again. It's been, like, spoiler alert, you guys, it has been awful. It has been, it's weird because it's like a different kind of sciatic pain than it was that made me initially go to the chiropractor. But I do go this week, so I'm hopeful that I can hang in there for a few more days and then have my chiropractor do her magic. But we ended up going to a restaurant that we haven't been to since before the pandemic. Downtown Hershey. It's so weird to say, like, downtown Hershey, because honestly, like, for the longest time, like, Hershey was really just, like, the park. And then anything else around it was like, okay. But they built this whole, like, downtown strip with restaurants and all these things. And we went to a restaurant. It was nice. It was funny. Briar was so excited to tell the waiter he was doing a good job. And I think he got a kick out of Briar. But it was fun. We had a good time. We had a good meal. She pooped on the potty, you guys, for the first time ever. And we thought, oh my God, the heavens opened. Now she's going to do it every single day. It's going to be amazing. And I know we're only like 17, 18 minutes into this WIP Chat, but like, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. But we thought that maybe the reason she wasn't going to the bathroom was because she was scared it was going to hurt or something along those lines. And then after she did it, she, like, had that overwhelming, like, sense of, like, relief of, like, okay, now I feel better. So we kind of thought that's where we were going to go with it. But we had said to her a while ago, if you poop on the potty, we will drop everything we're doing and we'll go to the Disney store. There's a Disney store not that far from us. So it wasn't like we were, like, driving forever and ever to get to a Disney store. So it was dinner time, and we were like, look, kiddo, we're going to eat dinner, and then we'll head over. And we did. We ate dinner so quickly that night, and then we walked in. She was a woman on a mission. Let me tell you guys. She knew. She's been talking about this for a while now, a couple weeks now. Like, if she poops on the potty, she's going to get Tramp from Lady and the Tramp, which... Does he have another name? I Googled. I'm not like a Disney nerd. Like, I say that with all the love in the world, you guys, because I love Disney, but I'm not, like, fanatical about... Why are you... My Google is listening to me right now. It's like everything I was saying just now was coming up on the screen on my tablet.
Oh, I thought you meant our...
No.
Oh, I was like, wow, that's weird.
The one at home, we have, like, Google Plays and Google Minis in our house. And total side note here, but when I tell it to stop or something like that, it doesn't recognize me at all. It feels like just it keeps going and going. But then I'll be talking to Briar, like, in the other room, and it'll start talking, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Get out of here. Stop listening to me. Anyway, so we ran over, and she literally, like, beelined, and my husband's like, you can look at other things, and she's like, okay. She kind of was like, no, and then went right over, found Tramp, walked right up to the counter, put him on the counter. She was ready to go. And so we thought, oh my God, everything's looking up. Like, she's so excited. She's going to take such good care of him. She's going to start going to the bathroom on the toilet every day. And then the next day happened, and we were like, well, okay. But it was funny because she was rip-roaring and ready to go. So the next day was Tuesday. It was our first day with the skates, and I already put that clip up so you guys could see it, but I was so excited to have her using her new skates. They seemed to fit her well. She seemed to be comfortable in them. It's a new session, so we had some returning faces. We had some new faces. I am already regretting the fact that I am working on all of this color blocking. And the largest placer I have available right now is a 7. Womp womp. What's your guys' comfort zone for placers? I know for a lot of people that don't like to multi-place, like, a 3 or a 4 is like the biggest they'll go. I have a 4. Oh, I have a 3 and a 4 on my desk. But 7s are my happy place. 10s are my favorite for big ones. Just in case anyone was curious. Nobody asked, but I'm here to tell you. But, you know, I always love when we start a new session because there's always like a new hopeful person. You're like, ooh, I hope they'll stay. But then it's like the worst when they're like, yeah, my kid's just doing this until the session's over because they're big brothers in school and I need an activity or something like that. And you're like, oh, womp womp. But this was a busy day. So we usually go right from ice skating to lunch, which sucks because usually by the time we get out to the car, it's like 10:45 in the morning and Briar's like, I'm ready. Let's go get lunch. Which wouldn't happen if she would eat more than 3 bites of food in the morning before ice skating. But that's a battle we've been fighting for a very long time. It's clearly not going in our favor. But this day, my husband had stuff planned out. He's like, okay, we're going to go to the mall. We're going to eat there. We've done this before, too, where we just head over there. We eat in the food court. And then she likes to walk around. But my husband was on a mission. He had a couple stores specifically that he wanted to get to for Pops. My husband has a very large order right now, like a very large order. Excuse me. And he needed to get Pops that fit his customs. When I say a very large order, I mean it's literally 4 times the size of the previous largest order he's ever had. And while the internet is great, if he can find a bunch of things he's looking for on hand in a store without having to pay for shipping or shipping from multiple stores, or also like knowing I need to find a female wearing a sleeveless dress, he can go to the store and see what they have on the shelves, because sometimes when he looks for parts for customs, he's looking more for, like, what the body is than the head is. And, you know, I don't know if you guys would know them all, but, like, I definitely wouldn't know them all. So, my husband, he looked like Cher Horowitz coming out of the shopping scene in Clueless. Like, literally with, like, bags strewn across all of his arms. Like, if he were to twirl in the middle of the mall in a yellow plaid suit, you would have thought we were remaking Clueless. Like, it was so many bags and so many things. But in the meantime, I took Briar in and out of a couple stores because I wanted to let my husband do, even though he was shopping, I still wanted to let him get like the business side of stuff done that he needed to. And it's a lot harder to do when you have a 4-year-old constantly being like, look at this, daddy. I want to show you this. Daddy, 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 mommy, 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 daddy, daddy, daddy. So we ended up getting her a new pair of sneakers. She needed a new pair. Her and Brian both have matching Vans. And we've noticed, like this week in particular, they are nearly impossible to get on her. So we're like, all right, let's size up. Did she want black Vans? Nope. What did she pick? The tie-dye ones. Of course she did. And I was just like, all right, well, mommy will make it work. Or I won't care. It depends on my mood. There's sometimes where I'm like, girl, you want to wear that? You wear that. Go ahead. You wear that. More power to you, friend. You wear that out of the house. And then other times I'm like, absolutely not. So, I took her over to FYE, where my husband was looking for some Pops. And she likes to look at all the soft friends and give them hugs. And we went to the calendar store where I let her pick up something. It was just a really good day, full of, she was pretty cooperative. She got rewarded for finally using the toilet, even though she had just gotten something from the Disney store. And listen, I know people are going to be like, you guys spoil her. Yeah, we know. But this instance, it deserved it. Or at least in our minds, it deserved it. So, it was just, all in all, a very successful trip to the mall. And then she got a tiara from Claire's. Tiara, whatever you guys call them. And there was a woman there who seemingly was with her granddaughter. And her granddaughter was trying on this unicorn, red, white, and blue unicorn horn headband with a veil. And she's like, I don't think your mom's going to like this very much. And I was like, listen, let the kid live. Like, would I want my kid prancing around in that? Probably not. But if it made her happy, it made her happy. It was a couple bucks, you know. So Briar was very excited to have her tiara. And she was walking all over the place, acting like the princess that she thinks she is. I mean, we also make her feel like she's the princess sometimes. But it was just one of those, like, wow, today's a good day. You know? And then, my husband really wanted Haas's, which is like a steakhouse buffet. So we went pretty early. And I'm glad we did, because literally within minutes of us sitting down, there were, and I am not even exaggerating, like at least 120 people, if not more, that came in. They looked like they were like high school and college with a couple adults. I asked the one table, I was like, are you guys a sports team? But it was like, you looked at the salad bar and there were people lining every side of it. I was like, well, that sucks. But we brought, okay, so I had purchased Briar this Pinkie Pie from My Little Pony when we did our Jersey trip. And I had told her that she couldn't have that. I don't remember in the moment why I said that, but I was like, I'll give it to you later, and then I just forgot about it. But she did not, so she brought that with her to the restaurant. And she's like trying to get everybody's attention walking by. Look at my Pinkie Pie. I'm like, Briar, the people working right now are so insanely busy. When I tell you guys, like, all of a sudden, it went from, like, a couple tables to, like, not a single seat empty. And you can definitely tell, this is not a knock at young people, but you can definitely tell the young people who have never worked in restaurants or family members that worked in restaurants, because, like, one group decided to just move tables to a totally different section. And I was like, well, they assigned them based off of the servers. Another kid grabbed a chair from a different table, put it at the end of the table, which blocked the walkway off. So now the servers couldn't come through. Guests behind them couldn't come through. It was, you guys, it was very, very excited. And then for some reason, Briar started crying because she thought my mother-in-law was joining us for dinner. She's like, well, when are we going to pick up Gamma? And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, to go to dinner. I was like, baby girl, Gamma's not coming with us. And she was like, what do you mean Gamma's not coming with us? We never once said that she was coming with us. So I'm not sure why Briar had that in her head. But then she got very, very upset. It was a very long meal. But anyway, we came home, and she was so excited to play with her Pinkie Pie that she wet herself, like, all the way down to her ankles. I was like, oh my goodness. And this is the thing. When we're out in public, she seems to be really, really good with, like, I need to use the potty, or, you know, like, letting us know she has to go, or when we say it's time to go, she doesn't argue. That's one of the things, like, I love. Somebody recently had said to me, well, why don't you tell her to sit on the potty? Oh, thank you. What a novel idea, as if I haven't been doing that. The problem is, I can't get her to sit on the toilet half the time. She'll swear up and down she doesn't have to go, and then she does. And it's like, yeah. So she wet herself and did not say a word. Not a single word. And this is, herein lies, I would say, one of our biggest obstacles when it comes to potty training. You know, I love when people are like, well, why don't you have her tell you when she pees? If you could figure out how to get my kid to do that after 2+ years, I would love to know. Because no matter how many times we tell her, you will never be in trouble for letting us know you had an accident. Never. She still won't tell us. And the only reason I knew that she wet herself was because I went to get her ready for bed. And I was like, Briar. And she's like, what? And I was like, Briar, you wet yourself. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, why didn't you tell anyone? The answer is always, I don't know. And I said, Briar, when did you do this? And she's like, when I was playing with Pinkie Pie. She gets herself to these points where she is so, like, distracted by her own toys that she won't stop to use the restroom. Now, for those who've been here for at least the last couple weeks, you will know all of her toys were taken away from her. And it sucks because here's the problem. when she has no toys, she's seeking, like sensory seeking, like crazy. And that's when she starts trying to destroy things. Like she'll literally find like plastic bag or cardboard and just tear it into tiny pieces all over the floor. Or she'll spill her food or her snacks all over the floor. Running around, like going nuts. But the problem is, if we give her a toy, then she's so distracted that she won't use the toilet. So it's like, I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. There's no right or wrong thing to do here. And it's exhausting. Like, she even said to me today, she's like, well, if we're watching a movie, we can pause the movie. And I'm like, Briar, if you're playing with a toy, you can put the toy down. Nobody's going to take it. It'll still be there when you come back. And I don't know how many times we have to reassure her before she finally believes us that, like, you can stop playing with your toy to go pee. Nothing's going to happen. But instead, she would rather just pee and not tell anyone. So, all of the good that she had done, like in the previous 48 hours, just went away. Because it turned into just another night of arguing, another night of exhaustion. And, like, when I tell you guys, I feel like a broken record. But I am so tapped out. And I've had a lot of people reach out to me and be like, well, is there anyone you know who could watch her? Yeah, Brian. Brian could watch her. In the same sense that, like, if Brian wanted to leave the house, I could watch her. We don't have other people. But the problem is, Brian's in the exact same boat with me. Because he's here every single minute of every single day, too. So, you know, ideally, it would be great for us to figure out some way that we could both leave the house together. But I'm not sure if that's going to be plausible. At least not in the near future. And, yeah. And I know he is as frustrated as I am. I just don't think that he walks around with his defeat on his face the same way I do. He's giving me looks. I was like, are you going to tell me that I'm wrong? Are you going to look at me and tell me that I'm wrong? Get a sip of water real quick. Okay, so Wednesday was Kinder Music. In case anyone is a Dunkin' Donuts fan and you're watching this, like, in present time, they've got new, like, flavors and stuff, which was a cornbread donut, and then they had a cake batter latte, I think it was, and then they also have a blueberry lemonade, which I tried today, and if you were going to tell me there was blueberry in that, I'd be shocked. But also at the same token, the location I was at today, they're not known for, well, paying attention at all, so it's totally plausible that I just got a regular lemonade. But anyway, I really like the cornbread donut. I also really like cornbread. She wanted to go get sandwiches for lunch. So if you guys, I know it sounds like we're always going out to eat and we're always going to do something. But after ice skating and after Kinder Music, just because the way our schedules are, it's easier for us to go right and get something to eat. Otherwise, we're not going to end up having a meal till much later. Or like sometimes we'll do like a takeout order. But I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Primanti Brothers. They're a chain. In my opinion, they're total shit. But they are known, quote unquote, for putting French fries on their sandwiches. I don't know about you guys, but like that's not something that I'm like, oh man, you know what I wish? That this was on my sandwich. Of course, we get there. Please explain this to me. People of the universe, how are you a restaurant where 90% of your menu is sandwiches? And there's not a single sandwich on the kids' menu. Not a single one. I'm like, you got turkey, you got ham, you got roast beef. There's not like a turkey and cheese sandwich. There's not even a grilled cheese sandwich on the kids' menu. Not at all. I was very surprised.
Plus thing's a cheeseburger.
And I don't even think it was a burger. I think it was sliders. I'm like,
yeah, wow.
I'm just like, I don't understand. So, but it was really interesting. There was a homeless guy that came in, and the manager told him he couldn't be there. And you could tell that, like, perhaps some of the employees did not feel the same way the manager did, because one was trying to figure out how to get food to him outside. And it was just, you know, it was a little bit of a heartbreaking situation. Because you could see that, I'm not here to tell somebody, especially in a business, how they should run things. But I could also tell this probably wasn't the first time that they had dealt with this man. But it was sad to see. And then a couple doors down was a not hair cuttery, Great Clips.
Yeah, that's Great Clips. You're right.
Whatever it is. And they have listed on their website that they are one of the Wigs for Kids partners. If you guys didn't know, my husband has been growing out his hair for quite some time. We've both donated our hair before. I've donated probably 3.5, 4 feet of hair in my life. And Brian donated, the last time we donated together, he gave about 10 inches. I gave about 15 inches. He's got much, much more to donate now. But, I've done it before where I filled out all the paperwork. I sent it in myself. And, I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Not every place that donates hair to kids with hair loss, cancer, alopecia, autoimmune disorders, not all of them do it for free. Wigs for Kids does. Pantene, Great Lengths, I don't know if they're still around. They do, but...
They are not.
Okay, I had given a lot of my hair through Locks of Love, and I had found out that an insanely high percentage of hair that they get, they just throw away. Excuse me. As well as charging families. And I'm not okay with that. There's also certain places that will only give kids with cancer wigs. Listen, if there's a little kid out there who has no hair for whatever reason, I would like my hair to be made into a wig for that person. So we walk in, and I was like, do you guys take appointments? And she's like, well, you can check in online and you can put yourself on the waiting list. And I was like, okay. And she's like, yeah, so you can make an appointment like that. No. What it is it's basically holding your spot online. So I can't be like, well, in 2 days I want to come in. I can only put my name on the waiting list for that day. And it was already 37 minutes, allegedly, at that point. And I was like, look, we got Briar with us. Like, we don't have, it's not going to work, us just sitting here for 37 minutes and then Brian getting his hair cut. So we're going to have to do better planning. But keep your eyes peeled, your notifications on, because you will certainly see both of us with significantly less hair whenever that happens. But my husband has been out of hummus for what feels like forever. And he's like, all right, let's just go over to Walmart or Wise. And I can run in, grab my hummus. And then we can just do like a pickup order from Texas Roadhouse. This was also one of those weeks where like the emotions were so high, like all day, every day, that, you know, sometimes you're like, screw it, I don't want to cook. I don't want to cook, I don't want to clean, I don't want to do dishes, I don't want to empty the dishwasher, I don't want to load the dishwasher. I just want to, like, veg. And, we ordered, and, picked up our order, took it home, and I took mine out of the box, and I am all for you guys eating your steaks, if you eat steaks, however you want. However, I like my steaks, personally, medium. When I tell you this steak, like, it wasn't rare. It was raw. It had touched the flame. It had grill marks. It was blue on the inside. Like, I could hear it mooing. And I was like, what? So I was, how do they say, none too pleased about that. And then Brian was like, well, I'll throw it on the stove. I'll heat it up. You know, we'll take care of that. So we had a conversation with my daughter about how she needs to poop. That one day that she pooped, which I think was Monday at this point, was the first time in the span of 8 days that she had gone to the bathroom. It was the only day in a span of 8 days. And not gonna sit here and talk too much about this, but like my kid is one of those kids that's like super, super regular. Like if she misses one day, she doubles up the next. And she's holding it in because she doesn't want to use the toilet. And we had told her, like, look, you have to start going on the potty, kiddo. You did it the other day. We know you're capable of it. I don't know what's holding you back, but you just got to do it. And if you don't, then we're going to have to call your doctor, because that's far too many days for you to go without going poop. So we're talking to her. She's not really eating a whole lot, and we think that part of it is because her belly was kind of like, hey, don't put any more food in me. I'm done. Because she also knows that what comes in must go out. And my husband is talking to her about how important it is to use the potty, and literally we just hear liquid like splattering. And we just looked at her. We're like, oh my God, Briar, did you just pee in your high chair? And she's like, yeah. While we're having the conversation with her about using the bathroom and telling us when she has to use the potty and how important it is to use the potty. And I was like, are you kidding me? And this is what I'm talking about when people say, you know, you got to be consistent and it doesn't take that long to potty train and blah, blah, blah. My kid is fully capable of using the toilet all day long, every single day, yet she continues to not do it, and it's her way to assert her power. And I'm just like, I don't understand why you're doing this. So yet another setback that we had. And then the next day, I had called her pediatrician because I was concerned with how many days we had gone without using the bathroom, and her belly was starting to feel really tight. Her behavior was off the charts because she has to poop. And, you know, I don't know what the reasoning is behind her not doing it. I'm not even going to like try to speculate because I've done a lot of that. It's gotten me nowhere. But we took her to the bathroom, or we took her to the pediatrician, and she's sitting up on like the exam table. Now, I don't understand. The last 2 times we've been to this pediatrician, we've had to wait so long for the doctor. We never had that problem before. Like, literally, they would come, they would take her vitals, the nurse would see her, and then maybe we'd wait 15 minutes, which I don't think is bad. This time was not as bad as the last time. The last time we waited, like, well over an hour, and I was like, oh my God. So, Brian's talking to her. Briar, do you need to go pee-pee? No, I don't. I promise. I don't have to go pee-pee. Literally, within 60 seconds of saying that, she pissed all over the exam table. And I was like, are you kidding me? And that was the first time she'd had like a public accident, which it wasn't very public. We were in. But then I had to scramble her to the bathroom. And like the one nurse is like, is everything okay? And I'm like, well, we got to hurry because knowing my luck, the doctor's going to be back in the room by the time we get back, which he was there, you guys. But we were talking and I would be like, Briar, I need you to just sit down. Just stop for a minute, sit down, pay attention. Like, I just need you to slow your roll. Just slow down. And when I tell you guys our child does not listen to us, like, at all, I mean, like, she literally does not listen to us. And it's incredibly frustrating because I will do my absolute best when it comes to it to, like, do the gentle parenting stuff, you know. But, oh my God, it does not matter how I approach something with her. Like, I feel like the only time she listens is when I yell, and then she's like, don't yell at me, because it makes her upset. And I totally understand that. And I don't want to be yelling at her. I don't want to be yelling at my kid. But it is incredibly frustrating, especially when you're in the middle of talking to a doctor, when your kid is just acting the way she is. And so he's like, I guess he finally took notice to the behavior, even though I had brought this up to him before. And he was like, she doesn't receive any behavioral services through the IU. And I said, no. I said, we asked to speak with their behavioral, I don't know what she's called. And we had a virtual meeting over Zoom with this woman who gave us like a list, an emailed list of like, here are my tactics and strategies. And that was it. And then she's like, is there anything more I can do for you guys? And I was like, yeah, what else can you do for us? And she's like, well, you already have my list of strategies. And I was like, oh, okay. Cool. Thanks so much for all your help. Please note the sarcasm in my voice. She did nothing. And part of the thing is my daughter doesn't have a diagnosis of anything outside of having anxiety, which, cool. But I think I'm actually gonna swap colors out here. But she doesn't qualify for anything. And the mental health care system in my area in particular is very, very, I need a therapist. There's not enough therapists or hours in the day. And like, I know a local woman who just posted, she was desperate to get her kid in somewhere, same age as Briar, and it was a 10 to 12 month wait. You know, when you're 4 years old, a year, it's a quarter of your life. And while I know I should just put her on the waiting list, I feel like there's more that can and should be done. And, you know, I guess he agreed with me. And so he gave me information for a couple local counseling services that do like play therapy for children, which I know the wait list is insane around here. Reached out to one, they never got back to me. Reached out to another, their entire website was down. And I wasn't super fond of that. He had recommended the place we got our daughter fully assessed when she aged out of early intervention and went into the intermediate unit. And he's like, oh, they did assess her. And I was like, yeah. Now, I don't know if he wants us to have her fully assessed again, or if he just thinks that like maybe some play therapy would be good for my kid or what. But he's like, look, I can't offer you counseling. And I was like, oh no, I understand that. It just like, I want to be able to get my kid into somewhere. So he gave us the number of a place in Baltimore. We called them. They have a 4-month waiting. So I am going to call them back because we did put all of our information in. I'm going to call them back, later this month, I guess. And just be like, hey, can we book that appointment? Like, can we schedule that? Or does it have to be scheduled closer out? It sucks because it's out of state. Which, you know, for insurance purposes, that sucks. But, like, anything that's going to help my kid, I don't know if something is going on and that's why we're having these difficulties with potty training. I would not be surprised if, I don't know at 4 or not, but if one day my kid came back as ADHD, runs in my family. But it's gotten to the point now that, like, I realize, well, it's been great for Briar to be around mommy and daddy for so long that she has the attitude and humor of an adult in a 4-year-old's body. And while you might think that's cute, when I tell you, like, I don't just mean, like, oh, the sass is unreal. Like, it is unbearable at times how over the top this kid is and obnoxious and just, like, straight up just doesn't listen. Like, does not listen. And then her favorite thing to do is tell you something and then be like, no. Like, tonight she's like, I have nothing more to say to you, mommy. And I was like, okay, then bye. And she goes, wait. I have to tell you something. And then proceeded to scream for like 15 minutes about how she had to tell me something. And then when I go, what do you need to tell me? Like, she never told me anything. But her behavior was awful. I was just like in tears in the car ride home because part of me was embarrassed. Like, can we go somewhere once where you don't act like this? But also, like, really defeated because I've been asking for help and I'm kind of always met with, like, oh, this stuff's normal. And then when people finally see what I'm talking about, they're like, oh. Like, I don't expect to have this perfect angel baby who's sweet and loving and the nicest baby, the nicest kid on the planet all the time. But the level of mental exhaustion that we deal with her is beyond, like, what her peers. And I know you're not supposed to compare kids to each other, but, like, how are you supposed to know what's developmentally appropriate and what's not if you're not comparing kids? And I don't mean that in a bad way, but, you know, But it just, the mental burnout, when I tell you guys, like, it is so real. So Friday was my parents' 44th anniversary, which is crazy. Hopefully Brian and I will celebrate 44 plus years together. It's actually our 10th anniversary this year, which is weird. I don't know why it's weird, but it's weird.
You thought I had been gone a long time ago?
No. I don't know, it just seems like it was also yesterday and like 8,000 years ago at the same time, which is kind of how parenting is. You're like, how are you 4? And how are you also only 4? You know? It's one of those things. So, oh man. We went to visit my father-in-law. Per usual, her and Grandpa fixed the bike with the Mickey tool set. Like, I don't know if one day all of a sudden she's just gonna be like, I'm over it. But it's been over a year that they've been fixing this bike. And if you guys are not like seeing me air quote, it's literally a Mickey Mouse toolkit, like plastic tools. Like, nothing is being fixed. There's nothing wrong with the bike either. I should probably preface that. But that's what she likes to play with when she visits Grandpa. And like, it was a little cold, so we couldn't play outside, but he's got a lot of land, so she likes to run around. Hopefully next time we go, the barn, we can go visit the barn, because she likes to see, he sometimes has like some stray barn cats, and things like that. But we went to a very simple restaurant near his dad for lunch. My husband grew up in a town like that literally has one restaurant. Well, I guess technically they have 2 now, but this is where we eat when we are with his dad, because he's one of those guys that, like, you know, every Tuesday you get the fish sandwich or whatever the special is. You know, he's very regimented on those kinds of things, and he's been going there for many years, and, you know, he knows what to expect. And I think that's easy for him. And so he did. The special was fish sandwich and clam chowder, and he's like, I don't really like clam chowder, and they let him swap it for a different soup, which was chicken rice. But they have a claw machine outside, and so Briar was like, I want to play the claw machine when we're done. Now, I'm sure I talked about this in a WIP Chat however long ago it was. I made the mistake of actually winning in the claw machine a while back. I should state I am not one of those people that typically wins. And by typically, I mean, like, maybe I've won once ever in my life before that, and it totally blew my socks off that I got the thing. So I think in Briar's mind, she's like, well, Mommy's going to get it again. And I kept explaining to her beforehand, like, look, kiddo, I have $1, I have one chance, and Mommy is not good at these. Well, she didn't believe me. What a surprise. And I did not get the thing, and it wasn't even the thing she wanted, but I was like, this is the thing I think I might be able to win. And a massive tantrum ensued. We were in, like, the little lobby section of the restaurant, and so everybody that walked in or out was walking by her. And I know that, like, anybody in that situation would have been upset, but I was like, damn, kid, like, and then she wanted nothing to do with anyone. She didn't want anyone to talk to her, look at her. She didn't want to give any hugs. She was grumpy. She was pissed. And it's like, well, damn, kid, I did my best. You didn't do it good enough, Mommy. Like, as if, like, that insult's gonna, you know, make me go home and cry about it. But I was just like, damn, kid. Like, I definitely tried to let you know it was almost certainly not going to happen for you, because I'm not good at these. Did she care? No, not at all. Not at all. But, we came home. It was finally nice. We got to play some t-ball in the afternoon. We went for a walk. She went into the bathroom by herself and pooped on her little potty completely by herself. Nobody said anything to her. We were like, you okay in there? And she's like, yeah, I all done. I pooped. And we were like, you did? And she was so excited. And that was great. So we ended up going to the bakery to pick up some sweet treats. I got a lovely gift from Knox. You guys, look at this. This is the coolest Zox. Knox sent me this. It says, it's always okay to share your pain. And thank you, Knox, because and thank you guys, because you guys allow me to use my platform to share the hardships of being a parent, the hardships of, like, pandemic life, you know, all the things that I deal with. And so it's such a thoughtful gift, and I really appreciate you, Knox. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I will link Knox's channel down below. If you guys did not know, I am co-hosting the Love Still Wins DP No Start event in August with Knox. Very excited about that. But anyway, we came home, we were hanging out, and I don't remember exactly how it happened because things are becoming blurrier and blurrier as the days go by. But I had said something to Briar about, I need you to go to the bathroom. And she's like, no. And I was like, Briar, I need you to go to the bathroom. I tried to explain to her recently, like the other day, that it's not a question of do you want to go or do you have to go. It's I'm telling you to go sit on the potty. If you sit on the potty for a few minutes and nothing happens, okay, then we can move on. But it's gotten to the point where, like, I have to go back to putting her on the toilet every 30 minutes, which is something we had previously done and thought this is overkill because she wouldn't sit on the toilet. Now we're back to that, where she has been having all of these, I don't want to call them accidents because a lot of them have been intentional. And this night was no different. So I was like, Briar, I need you to go to the bathroom now. No, I don't want to. I don't have to. And I was like, I don't care if you want to or not. I need you to go sit on the potty. And she's like, no, I don't want to. I was like, I don't have to. And I was like, I don't care, Briar. Go sit on the potty. And she's like, I already went. And I said, you already went what? And she's like, potty. And I go, when did you go potty? And she's like, just now. She literally pissed all over the floor because she wanted to prove that she didn't have to go to the bathroom, which explained that irony to me. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, how do we have these great moments where you knock our socks off and then in the blink of an eye, you pee all over a book because you don't want to use the bathroom because I told you to use the bathroom as opposed to her telling me she had to use the bathroom. So it was yet again another long and frustrating night. The next day was T-ball. We got up hella early because Slow Pants Magoo takes forever to get moving, and I'm just gonna end, I guess, on one little T-ball story. So I have mentioned it before that it frustrates me. I know that a lot of this comes from the parents not, how do I say this, not pushing their kids to realize that this is a team sport. Most kids that are playing T-ball are not going to grow up and be like the next major league player. Could they? Sure. But, like, that could also happen if they picked up a bat at 14. Like, it doesn't mean that if you start at 5, you're going to be the world's greatest player. A lot of the kids on our team do not seem super thrilled to have a little girl on the team, which is disappointing. I can't do anything about that except for continue to encourage her and remind her when she comes off the field that I need you to go back out there. You are part of a team and your teammates need you. Of course, she got up to bat at one point and I heard a little boy in the other team be like, why is there a little girl here? You know, it sucks. But there's a little guy on our team. He is definitely the kid with the glasses. He's much smaller for his age than his peers are, but he is so incredibly sweet. And he is very, very sweet to Briar. And he always asks Briar, like, come on, come with me. You know, he wants her to be his friend and he wants her to be part of the team and he wants her to just be happy to be there. So we're there, and he's wearing cleats, and he's running, and he all of a sudden hits the concrete. And because he hit the concrete, he totally bit it, because cleats are not meant to be running on the concrete. It was definitely not an intentional thing, but literally his mom and dad both yelled at him, "Shake it off. You're fine. Stop crying. Stop embarrassing yourself. Everybody's looking at you." And honestly, the only reason anybody was looking at this kid is because his parents were yelling at him. And I think he said he's 6. And I'm watching this little kid who may not have been seriously hurt, but he was hurt enough in that moment to need comforting from a parent, and watched as both of his parents said, "Toughen up, shake it off, be a man." And it's like, oh my goodness, like, this poor little guy, if it wasn't such a weird, like, pandemic world, like, I would have been like, "Hey buddy, do you want a hug?" and offered him a hug. I don't know how his parents would have taken that. But if we want our young boys to grow into emotionally well-rounded young men, they need to be allowed to express their emotions and be allowed to have those emotions, and not be told from such a young age, "You can't be that. You can't be sad. You can't be upset. Shake it off." And he said to like 3 different coaches how much his arm hurt. So I'm sure that in the moment he was really distraught, and it broke my heart to see his parents yelling at him that way. And like, I'm not going to tell somebody how to parent their kid, but like, damn, dude, like, let your kid, if he's telling you he's hurt, stop yelling at him that he's embarrassing himself and that he's making everyone look at him, because he probably feels embarrassed that like he's asking for your affection and you're telling him no, to man up when he's 6 years old. So that's where I'm going to leave you guys, because if I keep going, I'm going to get real angry about this. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you've made it all the way through, let's leave me some baseball emoji. I don't know if there are any. I think there's like a baseball emoji. I don't think there's anything else, but leave that down below. If you guys enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more content like this, or, nothing like this at all, please make sure to give this video 2 thumbs up. One real life, one virtual. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Come, join the Sparkle Squad. And while you're there, hit that notification bell.
Hey.
I do not operate on any sort of schedule. I operate on toddler standard time, and I record when my tiny human is sleeping or sleeping. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye, guys!